How to teach a dog to focus on you. Hello everyone, my name is Andrii Dovzhenko. I've already trained almost 1,000 dogs. Today I will share some useful life hacks with you.
Лежать. Супер.
Задние лапки погладили. И таким образом мы потихоньку его приучаем.
One of the most frequent questions with which people turn to me: my dog does not listen to me on the street. I call him, he doesn't come. I forbid him to do something, he doesn't respond. And this is a very important topic. If your dog won't focus on you on the street, won't listen to you, hear, follow any of your instructions, it's not pleasant at all, and it can cause a lot of problems. Therefore, the first thing we start doing is teaching the dog to focus on us. Rule number 1. You don't need to constantly vocally accompany the dog. You don't need to constantly tug on its leash, want something from it.
Lewis! 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 Mom! 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 Mommy! 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 Mama! 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 Ma! Ma!
If all the time you're walking, you're constantly talking to the dog, calling it, commanding it, the dog will start to move away from you and ignore you, because he has a lot of important things to do, and here you are bothering him. It's like in the tale where the boy called people because the wolves came. Rule number 2. Call the dog when it is really necessary and important at a certain moment. Reinforce the dog, reward the dog when the dog pays attention to you. On walks, you often don't notice when the dog himself came up to you, looked you in the eyes, poked his nose in your hand, licked you, just walked, turned around and looked at you. All these moments are very valuable, and it is important not to ignore them. Especially at some early stages. When you walk your dog, please pay attention when your dog looks at you and wants to communicate with you somehow. Reinforce it all the time. Rule number 3. In order to effectively reinforce the dog, we must have reinforcement. Reinforcement is simply a good word, a praise, a treat, something tasty that the dog craves for, a toys. It should be on the walk, when you train the dog and when you build your relationship. Rule number 4. Always understand what your dog wants at a certain moment. Sometimes he wants to eat and doesn't mind if you call him to take a bite. Sometimes the dog has a playful mood, and the dog will love to play if you offer him a ball.
Ты поймал. Ничего себе, ты поймал. Ты поймал, ты такую красоту. Ого, молодец.
But when the dog has important things to do, such as sniffing a bush or some grass, and you offer him your piece, sometimes it doesn't work. So learn to understand your dog and understand what he needs at a certain point. Rule number 5. Avoid situations when your dog may ignore the command.
Молодец, умница. О, Майя непонятно куда бежит. Майя, иди ко мне. Ко мне иди. Майя. Майя, я здесь. Я тебя звала. Ко мне подойди. Майя. Майка, ко мне иди.
Mom! Mom! Mommy! Mommy!
When you communicate with the dog, we need to pretend or present ourselves to the dog in such a way that if I say something, or I comment something, or ask someone for something, it definitely happens. Every time I ask for something, the dog does it.
Ко мне! Да, супер, гуляй.
That is, we simulate such situations. If your dog is very distracted, or there is some stimuli from which it is very difficult for your dog to switch, and at this time you decided to call the dog and the dog ignored you, this is how the dog learns to ignore you in general. This is absolutely impossible to allow. When you call the dog, the situation should be such that the dog is under control, on a leash, and you can make him hum. Or the dog was already going to come to you, was interested in you. Then you call him and he comes. Every time you give a command, the command must be carried out. If the dog does not obey one command, he learns to ignore commands in the future. At the end of this video, we will see what the artificial intelligence will answer to this request. How to teach a dog to focus on the master or owner, and how to teach your dog to be more attentive to its master. And while we look further, please subscribe to this channel and write in the comments whether you are satisfied with the attention of your dog during your walks. The next advice: get rid of stereotypes on walks. Because if your every walk is the same road, the same bushes, the same lawns where you do something, the dog very quickly turns it into habits, and then it is very difficult for the dog to give up these habits. If your every walk is different, if you visit different places, if your dog does not know when we will play, and when we will run somewhere, and when we will sit and wait, and when we will simply get to know the environment, he will constantly look on you and expect support, wait for hints, he will expect information from you. But what are we going to do now? I would like to tell you about one experiment that was conducted with different dogs of different ages, different breeds, and different levels of training. The experiment involved placing something interesting, usually food, in the center of the room. And this food was covered with a glass cube, so that the dog could not reach this food. All the dogs, in one way or another, tried to get this food, but nothing worked. And all the dogs, without any exception, sooner or later, did the same thing. If you guessed, write about it in the comments. Right, all the dogs turned to the person standing behind, asking for help. That is, it is programmed instinctively in dogs to communicate with people. But with our wrong actions, our own upbringings, we discourage the desire to communicate, we discourage the dog from behaving, and we do everything so that the dog ignores us simply because of our ignorance. I am sure that if you use all the tips that I have listed, your pet's attention will grow, and grow with every day, provided that you can properly motivate him. Ask yourself, who are you in your dog's life? Are you the subject who constantly prohibits everything? Or you're the person who helps the dog to realize its primary needs, who shows where it is interesting, what it is useful, and how to get the maximum benefit for both from a compatible interaction? Only together we can work as a pair. Remember that interacting with the dog is a team effort where you have to learn and to understand the dog, and the dog has to learn to understand you. I wish good for everyone.